Welcome, everybody, back to We Talk Film. And today, we are doing something a bit special. I am your host, as always, Barry, joined by Clayton, as always.
Hello.
And if you couldn't tell from the different type of intro we have today, we're doing something very, very special. Something very special indeed. What are we doing today, Clayton?
Oh, man. Today is a very special day in honor of Star Wars Day coming up. And in honor of the final episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, we decided to do an entire Star Wars episode dedicated to both that episode, that show, and to the whole of everything else Star Wars. We're going to get into the movies, the shows, literally everything. We're going to fight each other on camera. It's going to be great.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of everything Star Wars related today. So that is why we have everything Star Wars related. Even a bit of Baba because, bit of dancing music, because why not?
Oh,
a little bit different.
We've gone all out with the soundboard today.
Man. And we obviously do have the Mandalorian as well. But yes, like Clayton was saying, we will be getting into everything Star Wars today. We're going to be doing rankings, just a whole bunch. But before we get to our rankings, before we start talking about other Star Wars films, we have to address, obviously, what came out this week, which was the season finale of Mandalorian. So before we get ahead, spoilers to anyone watching the podcast. Got a new spoiler alert theme, which is pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
I love all the special
buttons. And I suppose we'll kick off with the newest episode of Mando. I love the theme for Mandalorian. It's so good.
Yes,
so good. So good.
Yeah. Wow. Why don't you take it away with the episode? Give us the synopsis, the rundown. What's happening? Yeah. What happened this week in Mando?
So the season finale of season 3, chapter 24, The Return. So this is a continuation of chapter 25, where at the end of that, they're all running away from Moff Gideon and Mando, or Din was captured and stuff like that. So Bo-Katan's running away with the squad that's remaining. No more, what's his name's character anymore?
Paz Vizsla? Yeah.
Paz Vizsla. Yeah.
Jon Favreau's
he dead. Jon Favreau's dead.
Man.
So yeah, as they're running away, Axe Wolves obviously going up to alert the other ones, let them know what's going on. And they're all like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? They're being attacked on Mandalore. And obviously, during that time as well, while they're running away, Din somehow escapes from the two stormtroopers. Are we going to call them stormtroopers or like Mando stormtroopers?
He called them Dark Troopers. So I guess that's Dark Troopers Phase 4, I guess. Beskar Troopers.
Yeah, whatever. Beskar Troopers, Dark Troopers. Okay.
They're not really.
So yeah, obviously Din escapes with a little bit of assistance from Grogu. On that one. The Mandalorians remaining Beskar hand stormtroopers engaged in a lengthy skirmish within the base, ending a victory for the Mandalorians. Din Djarin confronts Gideon, who reveals that the clones would have been able to use the Force. Oh, that's right. There's clones in this episode. Moff Gideon clones.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, that was just one of the side things. And then obviously Din and Moff Gideon have a bit of a duel going on, and then Katan steps in, has a fight with Moff Gideon, and the synopsis that I'm reading this week is all over the show. So I'm just trying to go through it. I need to start writing my
paraphrasing.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
Notes? How dare you assume that we have notes?
We have notes. Well, we do for today's episode.
Yes. And never again.
That's for later in the episode. Yeah, never again. And then obviously, what's in the Axe Wolves rams the Mandalorian capital ship straight into the base, trying to save everyone. And then little Grogu uses the Force to save Din and Bo-Katan. And apparently no more Moff Gideon, because apparently he burns alive in this episode.
We'll see.
And there was a lot of things. There was a lot of ending scenes as well. And I'm happy with the ending scene of it. Like, it just had Grogu and Din chilling.
Mando's on his porch. Mando has a porch now.
Mando has a porch. He's an old man. He's like Clint Eastwood. He's like, get off my lawn.
I was going to say, next season will be like Unforgiven. He's just really old and he can't get in the ship. And he's like,
oh, that'd be great.
Grogu, pass me the step ladder. I need to get into the spaceship.
So I suppose we can get talking into the nitty-gritty details about this week's episode.
Oh,
and
man.
we'll kick it off with you, man.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start off with a controversial opinion that I'm sure today's episode will be filled with many of.
Oh,
This
yes.
was
Plenty of them.
this was probably my favorite ending episode to a season. Uh, I know. This was my favorite last episode of a season. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Do you want to know why, Barry?
I want to know why.
Because this season sucked ass and it ended on a good point. Oh man, this show, this season,
true.
this season was one of it was just one of the worst
A
things
lot
to
of
come out of
downs.
Star Wars.
There was a lot of downs.
A lot of downs. The only ups being the last two episodes and Grievous's cousin. I remember him.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Grievous's cousin. R.M.P.
Yeah, no, this episode, again, it was great. It was a great ending, but it felt like a step down from the setup one, the one previous. I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, it felt like they took all of the points that they brought in the episode before. They brought up everything. They set up everything. They ended it on a satisfying yet unriskful way. It was not a very risky payoff to any of it. It felt kind of safe. And generic, I suppose, is a word that I could use to describe the ending, but good. It had the best action all season. I know we said that about last episode, but this one tops it.
Yep.
The action in this was awesome. The reveals were all good. The storytelling, it was all right. The writing was pretty good. It had some dumb points again, like every episode this season's had lots of stupid things happen. Like, what's his name? Axe Wolves?
Yes. He does a lot of stupid things.
Everything he does in this episode's stupid. Hey guys, I'm not going to warn you or anything, but I'm about to crash the ship into where all of you are. You're all going to die unless you leave within the next 3 seconds. I'm like, what?
Well, he did warn him. There was a warning once, but it was just kind of like, hey, I'm going to crash the ship. That was it.
Oh, it's so stupid. This episode, it was good, but a little stupid. Yeah. Why don't
that's the thing. I feel like that's the overall thing for this past season, really. And it's still like, obviously, you can see those elements even put in to this episode as well.
For real.
I'm just going through stuff. Why is this being funky? There was a lot of like issues it had again. Well, this time it was only Jon Favreau as the writer again for this episode. No Dave Filoni.
Okay, I wonder do you know why that is? Because that's kind of weird that Dave Filoni was on the last episode and none of the others. Like, huh?
Maybe they just had to get him in for one episode. Maybe that's part of the agreement. Because that's the thing. He even stars as a little cameo. In this at the end. Dave Filoni's in the end. He's in the Rebel base.
Oh man, I don't get it.
So yeah. So obviously, we kick it off with the events of last week's episode of Bo-Katan running away with the crew and everything like that, trying to get to the higher ground, which is just the whole thing. But I remember the garden. There's life on Mandalore now.
Yeah. No, that was cool. I like that.
Which somehow is just like, okay, that's happening. That's there.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's just kind of thrown at your face, and they're kind of like, yeah, whatever, I guess. They don't really talk about it ever again. Same as when that big monster showed up in the last one. They kind of just ignored it. It's like, oh, this happens. Oh, it'll never be spoken of again. And then same with this.
Never.
I guess Skinny Pete's just growing stuff on Mandalore. Who knows?
He's just growing. He's growing his weed. He's growing his weed.
Yeah, that's what it seems on Mandalore.
Like. Got that but yes, obviously we have Din. He does escape from the captives quite easily, might I add.
He had two guards. And they're just stormtroopers.
And then it was just like, oh, okay. Well, that's it. That's all that you're holding him with. Like the Mandalorian. That's all you're gonna put with him is just 2 armored guards.
Oh, that was really funny because I saw all of the theories being like, oh, someone's gonna come save Din. It's gonna be Luke or Bo-Katan's gonna show up, or this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. It's like Mando's like, no, I don't need anyone. I'm just gonna kick this guy and then I win.
Yep. And then obviously he gets Grogu does help him and he tries to like give him the medical spray stuff.
Oh yeah. He tries to spray.
He's like, assist. But obviously as well, since they're still in the base, Din finds that the best idea for him is to just go and defeat Moff Gideon. once and
Yeah.
for all. Get it over and done with because they're still going to keep having issues. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
obviously gets the
Good.
assistance of R4, who's still on the planet.
He came back, man. He came in
He
clutch, I
came
will
back.
say.
He came in clutch, and he had his old R2D2 moment. He came in, opened the doors
Oh,
for Din, the ray shields.
it was so good. I don't know how they make like a trash can seem so scaredy cat like, and so give it so much of its own personality. They do it really well,
Oh yeah.
just in these subtle movements and things. And I love when Star Wars does that. That's the best of
Oh.
Star Wars is when it's making you care about these things in a way that provides tension. And that's something this episode had that none of the others had is tension.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there was a lot to it. But obviously, yeah, Din got to have his like John Wick-esque moment in this episode as well, taking on the
Yeah,
stormtrooper guards in that, like
yeah.
one row at a time.
Oh, that
And
that was
obviously
really cool.
R4 was helping him with that. But yeah, he's like just using a knife and then he just got the shield and started ramming him. And while at the same time, R4 is being attacked by the little
Mouse
the
droids,
little
yeah.
droids, the mouse droids, and that like a whole herd of them come after him.
It was
It was
so
just
good.
so good.
That segment was probably my favorite of this episode. Probably the favorite of the
Oh yeah.
season. That for real. That was such a
Yep.
well
Yep.
done, well
Yeah.
written, tense John Wick style
Even like
segment.
choreographed, like the fighting
Oh
on that
yeah, yeah.
sequence. Obviously, it's not Pedro Pascal. They would have got one of the stunt guys to do it.
Yeah.
But
It just
like
yeah.
it was just like on point. Like it was just so cool to watch. Like going the back and forth because you got this super serious like action scene going on, and that R4's is like trying to zap these little mouse droid things, and he's just like, I don't know what to do.
No, it was so good. And it
um,
was it was
yeah.
weird because it was way better done than any of the other like hand-to-hand fights this season.
Oh yeah,
And
this is like probably some of the best like hand to hand combat they've done all
yeah.
across the Mandalorian. Like it
Yeah.
was really a step up.
It just annoys me because it's like you guys did it here. Why didn't you do it the last 7 episodes? It's like, oh man. There was
Exactly.
so much potential for this season, and if
Yep.
it wasn't for this satisfying but imperfect ending, this would have been awful. This would have been an
Oh yeah.
awful season. Oh my
And
god.
then obviously, yeah, we have the Mandalorians going up against the stormtroopers in the air for like a full-on battle, all happening with jetpacks.
That was cool.
Katan gets
I
out
must say.
the dark saber. The armorer gets out her tongs. It's just like that was so stupid when I saw that.
I hate
It's just
how
like
she fights with
why?
those. Just
Why are
give
you
her a
fighting
gun.
with them?
Give her a
Just
gun.
give her something.
Oh my god.
So yeah, obviously they were fighting in the air, very much like what last time we saw that was in the Clone Wars.
It
Was
felt very
air,
much like
air
a Clone
combat.
Wars fight. Yeah, and I loved it.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
And then
segment.
we obviously got Din. He confronts Moff Gideon, and at the same time, the Praetorian guards go after the Grogu, the baby Grogu,
Yeah,
and he's
they're
like, I
fighting.
can't do anything. And then Din's like trying to help, and then luckily Bo-Katan steps in with the darksaber and finally gets her 1v1 match with Moff Gideon, a bit of revenge, so to speak. But yeah, can we talk about like Moff Gideon's armor this episode?
How do you
It's
feel about
basically
it,
an
man?
Iron Man suit.
Oh yeah, I kind of dig it though. It feels like that's what Giancarlo Esposito would do if he was in Star Wars. It just build him a suit of like Mandalorian Iron Man armor.
Well, I really feel like that is like, okay, we're gonna try to make him kind of like Darth Vader. It's like robot-esque and everything like that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I totally forgot we didn't mention at all. Well, I kind of did earlier.
What?
Is that there is cloning of Moff Gideon. Moff
Yeah.
Gideon's been cloning himself, which we find out this episode, and it's just like, why? Why?
Dude is so full of himself. I love him.
Yeah.
Dude's like, I'm gonna. He you know how like even Sidious got like a clone of like Jango Fett to make his army. He was cloning other people. It's like, nah, Moff Gideon's like, I want clones of me. I want
Yeah,
suit
clones are
armor.
made with force powers.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why it was cloning.
It's so stupid. I don't know.
Yep.
They haven't explained how they have force powers too. I feel like that's another little cliffhanger they've left us on there.
Yeah, well, it would
explaining
still
that.
come from when they got the blood from Grogu in the first season.
True, but they also didn't tell us that's where it came from. They should have
Yeah,
mentioned
it
that.
probably should have mentioned it.
But,
But
yeah.
yes, obviously they're having a fight. Things are going on. Then obviously Din goes to help Grogu defeat the Praetorian guards, and they basically kick ass
Yeah.
against the Praetorian guards.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, because obviously the last time we saw Praetorian guards, was in last week's episode, but also in the Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, yeah.
I think, and you
Rey
have
and
like
Kylo
two
fighting.
full on like Rey and Kylo
Mhm.
fight, like having a very stressful time during that sequence where like Din and Grogu were just like, yep, kicking these
Yeah.
guys' asses.
Yeah. They should've
And
made 'em
they're meant to be
yeah.
Jedis, man.
They should have made the Praetorians way more intimidating in this. And to be fair, they do kind of kick Mando's ass, and if it wasn't for Grogu, they would have got him. But
Oh yeah,
even it's
but
still like
still,
it's like, yeah, this kid with force powers is doing better than Rey and Kylo.
yeah. He's just hopping around, bouncing around, doing flips.
Oh
He's like, "You can't
man.
catch me."
That was pretty funny though, but it went on for too
That
long.
was pretty funny. Yeah, it did. And yeah, obviously the fight with Moff and Bo-Katan, where Bo-Katan was just losing the entire time
Yeah.
because of superpowered armor. But yeah,
Yeah.
thankfully Axe Wolves comes down with the big ship and is just like, "Hey, I'm just gonna explode everything." And if anyone's down there,
So
well, that's your
stupid.
problem.
Yeah.
And then obviously the dark saber breaks this episode.
They
No more
break
dark
it.
saber. They
I'm
break it.
surprised they did that, honestly.
So thousands, if not tens of thousands of years of Star Wars lore, or like a thing,
Yeah.
is just gone now. That's it. Unless they
You
like
know
try to
what?
repair it or something like that.
I like it. I like that they destroyed it. It's
Yes,
going to
yeah.
force the Mandalorian people to completely change their ruling system. They're not going to have
Oh,
to
yeah.
rely on someone with a fancy sword now. And it feels like this is the kind of character arc that Bo needed to go on if they didn't kill her, which was my hope. But then it's like, no, they've taken away the one thing that she's wanted this whole time
Oh,
that we've seen
yes.
her.
Yep.
It's good. Good. I like it.
Oh, yeah. And then obviously the ship comes down. Everything gets set on fire. Little Grogu saves his dad and his mum
does.
now, I suppose, or his auntie, I suppose.
Force
And
shield, yeah.
yeah, force shields everyone while supposedly Moff Gideon burns to the ground.
Yeah, he looked like he got
Supposedly.
incinerated. I
Yeah, it
swear
looks
to
like he
God,
got incinerated.
if they bring him back next season, it's like a clone of Moff Gideon survived and he's back. I'll be so mad. Oh God.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We'll talk about just a little bit later about like the future of what's going to happen with the show and everything like that. But then obviously after that, we go in back to the waters of Mandalore. Everything's at peace. The Mandalorians have retaken Mandalore.
Yay.
So they're doing the whole baptismal thing in the waters again. And Din's like, you should baptize little baby Grogu. He should be one of us. And then he's like, I will adopt him. So they're officially father and son now, going on their space adventures.
He adopted him. I will say, I don't get it. Their whole religion thing, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Like,
I feel like they're making it up as long as they keep going with it.
And also, Paz Vizsla's son seemed very undisturbed by the fact that his father just died.
Yeah, well, he's a Mandalorian. They're not meant to give into emotion, man.
Yeah, but it's also kind of whack. And then the whole Grogu cannot be baptized until he can speak thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
A whole nother thing.
Oh.
And then obviously we have Din going to the Republic's little base and meeting that pilot guy and being like, hey, guess what? I'm going to work for the Republic now. Basically blackmailed him into doing that. And that's where we get to see our little cameo of Dave Filoni in there with his cowboy hat on.
Yeah. So Mando's like a good bounty hunter now. Whereas like Boba Fett was working for the Empire, he's working for the New Republic. I like it. I kind of like that idea. I don't know, man. I feel like that's a good place to be headed. How do you feel?
Yeah, especially how this ends and the future of what they're trying to do for the TV shows and stuff like that. And then obviously after that, they see a head of the IG-11 unit, and they take that and make him the new mercenary, or no, not new mercenary, whatever they call him, new guard,
Ranger
Ranger.
He's the new sheriff of Navarro.
The new sheriff in town of Navarro. And then little Grogu and Mando have their little house. And Mando's sitting on his porch while Grogu's about to eat a frog.
A frog, yeah.
Space frog.
Man.
So, father and son bonding time.
Oh, you know what? We said that we were almost certain there was going to be like an after credits teaser, an end scene or something.
There wasn't.
There wasn't. I
I
love
was
that.
honestly expecting them to do something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the way this ended, like that final shot.
Oh yeah, no, I've been saying all season how I want this to be just a Mando thing, keep it
Yeah.
self-contained, and for the most part, they've done that apart from the Thrawn teasing and the cloning
Yep.
stuff, which I
Yep.
feel like was a bit unescapable. But yeah,
Yeah.
they kept
Well,
it as
that's
its
the
own thing.
thing now. So, well, yeah, we've done the recapping. We can talk about that a bit now because obviously the
Yeah.
next show in the timeline of things will be the upcoming Ahsoka show.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I hope with all the upcoming shows and stuff like that that are coming in the near future, because obviously they are going to be doing a season 4 of The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, they'll do hundreds of these.
Well, I would expect them to.
I
I
think they've
hope
already
we
confirmed it,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah, I hope we don't see Din in the upcoming Ahsoka show. I
Yes.
feel like he needs to be put on the back burner a bit. I feel like for the
Yep.
Ahsoka show, it should just be about Ahsoka majority of
Mhm.
the time and those characters from Rebels that are being put into live action,
Yeah.
and mainly about introducing Thrawn straight away into that show.
Oh yeah, it would make no sense to put Din in it. He's not involved
Not
in that
not yet.
story.
Unless they do like a season 2 of Ahsoka, and then
Yeah, that
maybe
might be
not in
okay.
the first season. Not in the
Yeah, yeah.
first season.
If a second season of Ahsoka did what Book of Boba Fett did and bring him in for the end or a little bit in it, that'd be cool. But no, there's too many characters, especially because they're doing the whole Rebels thing. They can't focus that, especially on an 8
Oh yeah.
episode show, man. They're not going to have time to flesh out everyone.
Oh yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going to work. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I kind of hope with the future. I just hope they put Din on the back burner just a little bit until
Mm-hmm.
next season comes out anyway, and then they just
Yeah.
probably go with him just having adventures with Grogu. That's what
Yeah,
season 4 should be about.
for sure.
And then
And
maybe meeting up with Ahsoka or something's happened, like Thrawn's now taken fully over and everything like
yeah,
that.
I wouldn't even mind
So
if we don't see them come together again until that movie that they have planned, where they're supposed to bring everyone back.
yes, that's
Six,
right.
6 or 7 years. So what? That's another 2 seasons of Mando, 2 of Ahsoka, something like that, as well as
Yep,
whatever else they
yep.
do. Skeleton Crew. That should be when they bring it back.
Skeleton Crew.
Next
Yep.
season needs to be just Din on his own doing bounty hunting stuff. Man, we
Why
need it. We
not?
need it
Just go
even
back to
more
like a season 1
self-contained.
again.
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah! Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, keep Ahsoka as the big thing because they're
Yep.
building up Mando to be the big thing, like a big connecting show to all of the others. Why don't they make Ahsoka that?
Yeah,
Because I
why
feel
not?
like that's easier and better to do. She's the
Well, that's the
Jedi,
thing, because then
she's
that's gonna connect even more to your Clone Wars then. Look how many
mhm.
people still love and watch Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean, people freaked out when we saw space whales in this season. It's like we're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
everything in
I freaked
Ahsoka.
out when we saw space
You
whales.
did. Even I did, and I didn't remember what they were from.
Yeah, it was like the best thing ever.
True.
Good old
Favorite
space
moment of the
whales.
season.
Favorite moment of the season. But yes, obviously we have the whole Mandalorian's taken over Mandalorian again, and we have the scene where little Grogu gets the sense of something in the waters
Yeah.
of
We
I feel like
see.
that's setting up. We see obviously the mythosaur again.
Mhm.
I feel like because that's kind of like setting up with Grogu's character, because every single season or show he's been part of,
Yeah.
he's had some connection to creatures so
Mhm.
far.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's
always been his
true.
his element type thing. So, and this is a theory from
Mhm,
another
mhm.
person that I've been watching on YouTube and stuff like that about this week's episode on what they're going to set up, because obviously now the dark saber's broken. So
Yes.
how they're going to rule Mandalores and stuff now,
They
it's
need
mainly going to be
a
up to the people.
Jedi-Lorian. They need a
So why
Jedi-Lorian.
don't they go back to like when they had the first ever Jedi Mandalorian, whoever made the dark saber? Why couldn't that be eventually? Well, the way things are setting up to be Grogu, like he will
Yeah.
be the new one to set him or combine the
Mhm.
Mandalorians all together. Because that's the thing, a lot of them are still uncertain about Bo Katan, and they're not
Mhm.
really sure if she's the best because she's from a time of like older Mandalorians, essentially, where
Mhm,
they've
mhm.
disbelieved in the dark saber, where Grogu kind of represents that new generation now, and like he
Yeah.
could make his own lightsaber, and that's the thing because his alien species lives for hundreds of years, so he
Mm.
could be legitimately the best leader for Mandalore because he would just be like living forever.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But, I don't know if that would work because if they age up Grogu enough for him to be able to rule and lead like that, Mando's probably gonna be dead.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely for sure.
that might be a good thing to factor into that Ray movie.
Yep,
I feel
yep.
like that might be the best place to do that. And
But
yeah,
still,
again,
that's only going to be another 20, 30 years into the future.
yeah. But Yoda was
So
a
that's
Jedi
not a lot.
Master when he was 100. So that's
So
another
yeah, that
50.
would
So
have to be
that'll
around the same time.
yeah, that could even up. It'll
Yeah.
be like a young sort of Yoda. Mm,
So yeah, it would be interesting to see what they do with the continuation because
mm,
obviously, like, I
mhm.
feel like he has that connection to the mythosaur.
Yeah,
So like, he's probably going to be sometime in the next upcoming seasons. They got to put that mythosaur back in, and Grogu's probably going to be
true,
the one to
true.
ride it.
Or you know what would be good is if we don't see any of that, we kind of hint at it throughout Mando, and then when Mando finishes, which I assume is when we lead up to that movie, the
Yep.
Rey movie is the time skip to where we see Grogu, because I think that's the only way that would work, because considering the age, how he
Oh yeah,
ages.
they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, but no, they could do
But yeah,
lots with it. But
they
yeah,
can do
like
lots. There is a lot.
imagine Rey has to go to like Mandalore for something, and she goes there and sees Grogu like ruling over it with the mythosaur and this his own little dark saber or something. That could be a hell of a moment if they pulled it off in
Yeah.
that way.
Well, that's the thing. That's even if they still do this Ray film, because
I don't know if
Disney at the moment
mm.
have very high certainty of like, oh yeah, we're making this film. Oh, the script's all ready to go. Oh, by the way, we just cancelled that film.
Yeah, they seem to be doing that, but
um,
it seemed like they were kind of keen on it, so I don't know.
um, but that's the thing.
Mm.
Audience reaction, man. Do they want to bring that character back? Do they want to try and ruin Star
Oh,
Wars
man.
again?
I feel like they have to bring her back and do it right. Because I'm sure Daisy Ridley can pull off an amazing job as Rey, as
Oh no, she
especially an
can. She
older
can.
Rey. Oh yeah, we know she can. We've seen segments of the newer movies where she's been great. But yeah, no, they need to bring her back. They need to show something post Rise of Skywalker, and I feel like the best way to do that is through a slightly older Rey. I
Yeah.
don't
Well, I'm
don't
still
yeah.
in the mindset of Star Wars with just everything and stuff like that. It is where they need to do something new and original. Don't connect it to everything that's going on.
Yeah. I mean they're
Like I,
trying.
I want them to go back to like old Republic times, just like thousands of years before like any of this shit ever happened, and just be
Yeah.
like, yep, this is what's going on now.
Well, I mean
Like
the
I want
best
full on
yeah.
like massive Sith armies against massive
Ooh.
Jedi armies going at it.
Ooh.
You know how cool that would be? Do
It
the
would be
whole
so
like
cool.
Darth Revan timeline as well.
I mean, even
Oh, that'd be great.
you
That'd be
watch
great.
like the cinematics for the like Old Republic and that, how well done those
Yep.
were made. Just turn
Yep.
those into a movie. But yeah, no,
Why
it
not?
seems yeah, why not? It seems like the best part of modern Star Wars are when they've done something new. The Mandalorian, completely
Oh
new
yeah.
characters, new story, awesome. Andor, that was something new in a different way. It was an old character that we've seen in Rogue One, but it was different. It
Yep.
was new. Rogue
Everything
One
else
was
was new.
something
Yeah.
new that
Yep.
tied into things, but it was new. It was good.
Yep.
Uh, all of the characters that they've brought back and given shows sucked. Boba Fett,
Oh yeah.
awful. Kenobi, awful. The
Yep.
new Skywalker movies, pretty bad. Solo
Yes.
sucked, even though it was enjoyable. But it's like
Oh
they
man,
need to do new things.
it's gonna be some very controversial things later in today's
I don't
episode.
know, man. Yeah,
uh,
we'll talk about
we
that
might
later.
not be talking to one another for the next week after today's episode.
This is the last episode of the podcast, guys.
Last episode of the podcast, guys. So yeah, I suppose we'll go into final thoughts of the final chapter, or
Yeah.
well, currently of Mandalorian.
Oh man, should I kick it off with a rating?
You should kick it off, man. You should kick off the rating.
Oh, so all right, we'll do this episode, right? This episode
Yep.
was an 8 out of 10. Right.
Okay.
Step
Yep.
down from last week.
Yep.
Satisfying conclusion. Great
Yep.
action. Good storytelling. Good little teasers and ties. But it didn't take enough risks. It didn't do anything new. It didn't surprise us in any way. It was kind of like this is a satisfying conclusion. I just wish it did more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. Like I feel like last week's episode was a lot more better done. To like get to the moment where they wanted for this episode, but then it just like kind of fell off a bit again.
Mm.
And it's just like, yeah, like it could have been done so much better. There was a lot of things they put into this week's episode that was just like, well, we could have explored more of that throughout the entire season.
Oh,
And
for
I feel
sure.
like I still have a bad taste just overall of this past season. Like I just didn't like man. I just didn't like it at
You
all.
can't
Besides like the
escape it,
final
man.
two,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
can't escape it. But
Oof.
yeah, I'm probably gonna give it like a 7.5 this episode.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to get over the season, and I suppose we can talk about the season as a whole now because,
Yes.
oh
So it
god,
was garbage.
yeah, this was the worst season of The Mandalorian.
Not as bad as Book of Boba Fett though.
No, no, it was certainly better than some other Star Wars things that I'm sure we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, all right. So this season as a whole, I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10, and
Yep.
that's
Yep.
pretty generous
That is
considering.
generous, man. That is
Yeah,
generous.
considering I only liked 3 out of the 8 episodes. It's like this whole season could have
Yeah.
been 10 minutes long. It didn't give us anything new. The characters didn't really go anywhere. Like
Yep.
Gideon
Yep.
done at this end of this season. He was done at the end of the last one. We didn't need to see him back. We didn't need any of this. The Mandalore
Nope.
stuff wasn't really furthered. This wasn't finished. This wasn't done. Nothing really happened. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 6 out of 10 for me.
6 out of 10. That's all
Oh,
right. Well, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 for
wow.
the entire
Okay.
season. I absolutely hated this season, besides the final 2 episodes.
Oh man.
And that's the thing. I feel like these final 2 episodes could have been better in my mind if the entire season was done better. Like there was so
Definitely.
much opportunity that they could have done this past season, but there has been obviously some issues behind the scenes going on in
Yeah.
Disney with this TV show at the moment, which we won't
Mhm.
get into. But yeah,
Yeah.
there has been some problems, and that's the reason kind of why the season's been
Yeah.
the way that it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't like it at all. Like they
No.
could have done so much stuff even with what they had. I just feel like it was just like shove this in there, shove that in there. We'll have Jack Black for this episode. Oh, Christopher Lloyd too. Why not?
Yeah, it definitely feels like, because all of the behind the scenes stuff, it feels like they were like, we need to put out a new season of Mando. Just kind of have
Yep.
more Mando. Nothing really planned for it. Make it up as you guys go, as long as we get more of Mando. Which, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yep.
fine, but it's far from what we got before. Like this was
Well,
this is
that's
the
the thing
great
because I
show,
still
man.
put season 2 as like one of the best like
Mm,
shows
mhm.
or like seasons for a show like ever made.
Oh, I
Like I
still
was
love
going
it.
back through clips of season 2 and stuff like that, and I'm getting like tingles like just watching
Yeah.
clips from season 2. Season 2 was
Oh,
so well done, and so was the first season as well. But
I
something
love
about
it.
season 2 was just like on point for me. I think
Yeah.
because it had a lot more Clone Wars connections in season 2 and
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
that's
that.
true.
Because obviously that's when they had Ahsoka as
Yeah,
well.
that's true. For me, the
So for me,
first
that was just
season
like, mm,
That's the first season
yeah,
for me, is just so peak. It was
yeah.
so good. The first episode of The Mandalorian is probably my favorite,
Oh yeah,
like, Star Wars, one of my favorite moments in Star Wars as a whole. The
yep,
whole bounty hunting Western style was perfect. They nailed it for the first 16 episodes of this show. The first 2 seasons was great. A little bit of
yep,
ups and
yep,
downs, but for the most part, great. 8s, 9s out of 10s across the board. And then we get here, and it's fallen through, man.
oh yeah, that's for sure.
Oh. Oh,
Big
man.
Danner on this episode, on the season as
Yeah,
well. So
true.
do better in
Oh, man.
season 4.
I hope they will, and I hope the fact that this season sucked and nothing really happened, it kind of puts them on a blank slate for the next season.
Yep.
Maybe the fact this season sucks is a good thing, hidden in disguise. It's like,
Well, that's the
I don't
thing
know, man.
because very people have been very public online about this season and how
Oh,
bad of
yeah.
quality it has been. And that's the thing,
Mm.
Disney have seen that because there was an interview or something with John Favreau the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, no, we have seen people's comments about it and stuff like that because
I'm
Star Wars
sure he
Celebration
feels
and
the
stuff like
same.
that." So,
Yeah.
oh
No,
yeah,
I'm sure he feels the
but
same.
obviously there was producers and other things going on at the moment at
Yeah.
Lucasfilm, and it was just a whole bunch of things. So I suppose
Mhm.
with that, then we should try and get into our Star Wars TV show rankings first. Before
Whoa!
we do our movie, we'll leave the movie rankings to last because that's the big
Yeah.
one for everyone, I think. So did you want to go first for this one, bud?
True. Did you wanna press the soundboard button? Give me a button.
What do
Give me
we
a button
got?
to
We got
kick
a
it off.
button. We got the button to kick it off, and no,
Do it.
that's the Lego Yoda death zone.
That's good enough to kick it off.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's good
and
enough
that's
to
an
kick it
even
off.
better one to kick it off because I'm
Yeah.
working backwards. We're gonna rank
Yes.
9 shows, correct? Yeah,
Yes. 9 shows.
think
9
so.
shows.
9 shows.
Obviously, I thought we were gonna add Resistance because logically that's canonically or part of it, but I got rid of that one.
I have not touched that one, and I don't plan to.
Yeah.
I heard it sucks. Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyway, work backwards from 9, you think? Worst to
Yeah,
best?
work backwards from 9. Worst to best.
Oh, number 9. Do I have to even tell you that it's Kenobi? You've heard
What?
me talk about Kenobi, man. You know that I
Okay.
hate this. I hate this show.
You hate it that much?
I hate it
That
that
is
it's
the
last.
worst one.
It
You
is
hate
the
it more
worst
than
one.
Book of Boba Fett.
I hate it more than Book of Boba Fett because at least Book of Boba Fett had moments that I liked. The whole Tusken Raidery stuff was cool. I liked the flashback parts. That was pretty good. Kenobi felt like a kid playing with action figures, but the kid's like stupid and doesn't know who these characters are. I hated it.
Okay.
It was awful. It had the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor was the only good part, and it felt like he was barely holding it together on this show. The actor that played Leia was good. The performances were good. The writing was awful. The bad guys made no sense. It makes no sense in Star Wars canon as well. Luke never brought up to his uncle who the lady with the red lightsaber was, all of this other stuff. It ends like a Transformers movie where he sends a message out in the stars. It's so stupid. I hated the show, man.
Okay.
That was number 9.
So can I guess your number 8 then?
Yeah. What do you think it is?
Is it Book of Boba Fett?
It's Book of Boba Fett, man.
It's Book of Boba Fett.
Again, awful. Awful writing. The last episode of Book of Boba Fett is worse than Kenobi, I will say. But if it wasn't for the cool kind of Tusken Raidery stuff, which I really liked, I liked seeing all of that. That was all well done. Like the train robbery segment was awesome in Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
That was great. But yeah, the last episode, people are like doing spins and no one gets shot. That it was awful. I couldn't watch it. I was laughing the whole way through. It was awful. And yeah, if it wasn't for the Mando episodes in it, which I kind of make its own thing, that's kind of Mando 2.5, then yeah, this show's bad. It's awful.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's number
What about
8
number
for me.
7? Number 7.
Number 7 for me is Rebels. And I know you're not going to like that. I know you're not going to like
I do not.
Oh.
I do not like that.
Mostly because I didn't get all the way through it, man.
Oh, okay.
I got bored of it. It bored me.
Yep.
I couldn't stick around through it, and I will eventually. Don't hold me to that. But for now, it's at number 7. Watching the rest of it, I'm sure it might go up. I know that it has good moments.
I would definitely recommend watching it before you watch Ahsoka.
I will try. That's my goal.
Yeah.
That is my goal.
Yeah,
but yes,
and I have to do that
now,
because a lot of Ahsoka is going to rely on the finale of Rebels. So
that's the thing, is I know the events of Rebels, and that kind of intrigues me enough to want to watch it. But yeah, it just felt like a lot of filler, and it felt like the worst parts of the Clone Wars extended. So for now, it's a 7 until I get around to it. It might go up. I'm sure it will. But for now, it's a 7. Hopefully that doesn't piss me off too
number
much.
6 then.
Number 6, and this is the point where everything upwards I really like.
Okay.
Number 6 is Star Wars Visions.
Hey,
this was really cool. I loved what they did with this. It was a cool idea. The first like official non-canon thing to ever come out of Star Wars from the guys who made it, really.
Yeah.
In terms of shows and that. Yeah, no, it was really good. It was clever. It had some great episodes, some bad episodes, some in between. But no, that's mostly because they're all different studios, all different writers, all short stories.
Oh yeah, all different animation styles as well and everything. I can't wait for season 2 for it.
I know.
They get Studio Ghibli apparently have done a proper like full length episode for it.
That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great.
No, it was awesome.
Cool.
I want more of it. I love that show. It's so good. And then it brings me to number 5. Number 5 is Tales of the Jedi.
Okay.
And again, really freaking good. But again, they're like 6-10 minute shorts or whatever. It's didn't really do much. It
I really feel like it could have been full episodes for that. I feel like it should have been its own thing.
It definitely could have been. And because we haven't seen much of it, I need more. I need more characters. I need more unique characters. You know, they bring us like Plo Koon episodes or like a Ki-Adi-Mundi episode or something in the second season.
Why not? Just like the odd characters that you saw all throughout Star Wars.
but I love the idea of it. Yeah, no, they could do
Yep.
so much with this, and it's a great idea. I want more of it, and that's why it's right in the middle at number 5. And then
Yeah.
brings me to
Number
number
4.
4. This is Star Wars: The Bad Batch, man. Bad Batch is number 4. I love this show. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's a great show.
Oh man,
Everyone
it got
loves it.
me.
I'm still
It yeah.
so depressed about this season, but it was so
Oh,
good. It was
tell me
so
about it.
good.
If you guys haven't listened to
I
our
miss you,
Bad
Tech.
Batch episode, go
Rest in
back
peace,
and
Tech.
listen to that.
Rest in peace, Tech. Rest in peace, Tech. Omega.
It
It was a
made me
funny
care
episode.
about these characters. It was funny, but no, it
Oh
made
yeah,
me care about this little group of characters as they run around the galaxy, and it. Oh man, it felt like such a a breath of fresh air while watching Mando season 3. So,
exactly.
number 4, number 3. I've
Yep.
got Andor. Andor's number 3.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I love this
I
show.
want to leave this podcast.
I knew that was gonna set you off.
But it's all
This
right. I know
show,
it's still in your top 3, which is compared to a lot of people that I've
look,
asked about Andor. I'm still happy that it's in your top 3. So
trust me, I loved this show. This show was awesome,
yeah,
and like I said, the top 6 of this list is great. Really good.
yeah, yeah,
Andor was
yeah,
awesome. It felt like, I would have done a few things a little differently, but
yep,
overall, I loved it. It was so good. It's the
yeah.
best dialogue in all of Star Wars. I mean, not that that's
Oh
saying
yeah,
much, but I loved it. The action was good when it was there. The tension was there. It, introduced some really cool characters and showed us a side of Star Wars we haven't seen before, and I loved that. But
yep.
yeah, no, it could have been a little bit better in my book. But again, I'm excited for season 2. I can't wait for next year. Oh, it's gonna be so
Oh
good,
yeah.
man.
Well, that's the thing,
Oh,
because season 2, the final shot of season 2 is going to be the beginning shot of Rogue One.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because they already
right.
said that. Because since the
Yeah,
final shot of Rogue One was the beginning of A New Hope, they want
yeah.
to end the season, so it's the final shot
Ah,
going into Rogue One. So then you go and watch Rogue One.
that could be real. That's really cool because that means they're gonna
Yeah.
tie everything up, and I love that.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what
Yep.
Mando needs. But yeah, no, that brings me to top 2. Ooh,
Yep.
you wanna have a guess at
Here we go.
what my number 2 is? Do you wanna have a guess?
Mandalorian.
It's The Mandalorian, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Mandalorian. It was my number 1 until this season came out. It felt like this was the most consistently
uh,
good Star Wars show I could come to and enjoy,
yep.
and then this season brought it down to number 2, which is still really good. The first
Yep.
season of Mando is my favorite season in Star Wars history out of the television shows.
Yep.
Loved
Yep.
it. So good. And then, yeah, it gets brought down over time, but it was still really good.
Oh
And then
yes.
number 1,
Number 1.
Star Wars: The
Obviously, Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars, man. It's The Clone Wars. I grew up watching this. I
Yeah.
still watch this. I watch episodes of
Yeah.
this just occasionally. I'll be like,
Yeah,
"Man, I
I
really
have
wanna
it
watch
on
the
repeat like
Umbara
all the
arc," or
time. If I ever
yeah.
like need something to watch, I will go and watch Clone Wars. It's a comfort.
It's yeah, it's so good, man. Every storyline, even the bad ones, it makes me laugh at Jar Jar Binks, and I love the R2-D2 C3PO episodes, and
Yeah.
it's also a really gritty, grounded show for a kids show.
Oh
Some of
yeah.
the episodes
Well,
are just, like,
especially like
brutal.
yeah, the more like I think it was from season 4 onwards when they
Mm,
started introducing
mhm.
like Maul again into it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
well, this is
they really dark with it.
Clone Wars is more violent than the recent Skywalker movies. People get chopped in half, people's arms get cut
Yeah.
off, people get stabbed
Clone
through the
Wars is like
chest.
the most violent of all of Star Wars. Like they're so brutal in how people die, especially even the clone troopers
Yeah.
themselves. This is like oh,
I
shit.
know. I love it, and that's probably why I love The Bad Batch so much, is because it just feels like more of that. But yeah,
Yep.
Clone Wars is my number 1, so I'm gonna throw the
Oh,
microphone to you,
look at you
let you
go.
take it away with your list.
Okay. Well,
Don't piss me
mine's
off,
gonna
I
be a
dare you.
little, yeah, a little bit different with yours. So for mine starts off with the Book of Boba Fett. I did not like it
What?
at all.
Really? I
I
couldn't tell.
just hated it. Besides that one episode with Mando bringing back Grogu, or the 2
Yeah.
episodes, that was really
Mhm,
it. Even still, I was just like, this is what they should have added to season 3 of Mandalorian.
mhm, mhm.
And it was just like the pacing of it, the acting, just yeah, it wasn't good. Wasn't good at all.
Oh, no.
Number 8, which is I have these 2 flipped around from what you said, is obviously
Whoa.
Kenobi.
Yep.
Could have been a lot more better, There is a edit of the Kenobi show that has been edited down to a movie. The guy that did this, I
Yeah.
have seen that version of it because he even brought back like sound effects from the prequels as well, and like
Right.
got rid of a whole bunch of stuff from the show that was absolutely stupid, and he made it like perfect, like it would
Really?
become one of the highest things. Apparently now he has signed a contract with Lucasfilm for like a few $1 million to edit it properly with them, and they're going to be putting it on Disney Plus
Oh,
eventually
shit.
as an
That's
actual movie.
that sounds awesome. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out because, yeah, Kenobi had some good moments, very
yeah.
sparingly, but yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
edit of that is the reason why I prefer it a bit more because he just got all the stuff that didn't make sense of it out and just kept all the good stuff in. And it's just like I think it was like a just over an hour and a half movie or 2 hour film,
Perfect.
and it was
Oh,
perfect. Like
man.
it was literally perfect. But
Woohoo.
obviously, as the TV show, I'm treating
Alright.
it as quite low. So that's my number
Yes.
8. So number 7 is Visions for me. I do
Okay.
like it. I do very much like it. I put it very far above where Kenobi sits. That's for sure. Like the next 7 are all
Oh, yeah.
really high. Then we get to the top 2. They're like neck and neck with one another. But yeah, Visions is good. I can't wait for season 2. There's a lot of interesting stuff they're doing with it. I really liked the like Ronin Samurai one that they did in the first season,
Was that the
the whole black
first
and white
episode?
one. Was that the
Yeah,
first
that one
episode?
was
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, yeah, there was some cool stuff
Um,
in that show, man.
I really want to get like a poster of that or like a shirt of that. That was like really cool.
It would make a really good
Um,
shirt, I will
it would make a really good
say.
shirt. Then number
Oh,
6 for me is Tales of the Jedi.
okay.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, like I want them to do more with it. I still preferred it more
Mhm.
than Visions. It was just like a little backstory of like certain characters and stuff like that. Of obviously
Yeah.
in between Vince, or before Clone Wars actually
Yep.
happened, and still that kind of same animation.
Mm.
But yeah, I wish they still did more with it. Like it was actually like full length episodes, not the little short ones that they
I hope
did
they do
for it.
because everyone
And
loved it.
maybe for season 2 they might. So maybe they'll
Maybe.
just like
Be
testing
lovely.
it and it's been like, oh, it's season 2, we'll do a lot more. So number
Maybe.
5 for me is going to be Rebels, good sir,
Oh, okay. I
because
thought you'd
I
have it
liked
higher.
Rebels. No,
Oh, okay.
no, it's
Yeah,
still
right.
good. I feel like yeah, other things in this list are much more higher.
Mhm,
Overall, the
mhm.
story for it, there was a lot they try to do with it, a lot of strange and different things they try to do with it. I might go
Yeah.
back and rewatch it before Ahsoka comes out now, because there was like some
All good
really
on you.
cool fights and everything like that, and even like the voice performance in it. Oh, because I had Darth Maul again in Rebels
Yeah,
was
I
in it,
know.
and like the voice performance
Ooh.
in that I think was somewhat on par with like the final season of Clone Wars of what he
Wow,
did in
yeah.
Rebels.
Sam Witwer.
Sam
Awesome.
Witwer,
Awesome voice
yeah.
actor, man. So
And
good.
obviously, yeah, the Inquisitors and Ahsoka's in it. That's probably the majority of the reason why I like it so much is because Ahsoka's in it.
Yeah,
just
no, it
have
seems like
Ahsoka in it
that.
that I like it.
You speak very
So
highly of Ahsoka, I will say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So number 4 for me is Bad Batch. Yes, I love
Yep.
following this group of ragtag team after the events of Clone Wars and Order 66 and everything like that, and them trying to survive. And this past season, it got me in the feels, man. Like I've been so devastated
Yeah.
after watching the current season.
Mm.
Whereas it's like a lot of other shows that I have watched where characters have died, and I still think about season 2 of Bad Batch, and
No,
I'm just like,
Tick
why? Why did they have to
Tickney.
kill Tech? I
Oh,
miss him so much.
I'm
And there's
glad.
only going
I
to be one
love
more
it.
season. There's only going to be one
I
more
know.
season of Bad
They're
Batch.
all gonna
That's it.
die. It's
They're all
gonna
going
kill
to
us, man.
die.
They're all gonna die. Oh, it's gonna
Oh,
be it's
so
gonna be amazing.
oh yeah, it's going to be good. Like a full on
Oh,
like old clones fighting the new
it's
stormtroopers.
gonna be
We
the
all know they're going
Saving
to die.
Private Ryan of the Star Wars universe. I'm calling it
Rip,
now.
rip the Bad Batch.
Oh.
So yeah, number 3 for me is going to be the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. Yep, yep.
Yes. Like I said, I still enjoyed the first 2 seasons. This season, I was thinking of honestly dropping it down to number 4, if I'm being honest, because of the
Wow,
season
yeah.
alone. But yeah, then I remembered. Oh, wait a minute, season 2 and 1 were pretty on point still. So that's the
Yeah,
reason why it's still in the top 3. I just wish like they kept up the consistency of it. Um, that's really about it. And I hope maybe in the future they do continue it quite well, and we'll see how it all goes now.
yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
but I suppose we'll go into my final 2. So these two shows, they're kind of neck and neck with one another. It depends on how I feel. If I feel like a bit of animation or if I feel like a bit of live action, but I still love both of them and would probably rate them like a good like equal scale almost most of the time. So
I get
number
that. That's
2 for
cool.
me is going to be Clone Wars.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Fair
Well, that's
enough.
the thing. I was like you. I did grow up with watching it all, and I was devastated when it got cancelled. And when they were like, "We're coming back for a final season," I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like a
The
mind just
hype was
blown. The
unreal.
hype was real. I remember, like, I think I've still got the first 5 seasons on DVD of Clone Wars.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Bro, I have a
somewhere.
USB with the 3rd season on it somewhere that I just
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Oh, so
But yeah,
good.
like that's the thing because it's still like it told so many good stories, so much good characters, and so much just everything came out of that show. But I still feel like it was maybe still centered to like kids, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I
You couldn't
suppose
really
like
escape that though.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've gotten obviously old. I am an old man now officially, and
Wow.
it's just like I try to go back and watch it now and stuff like that. It's still a good time to watch and stuff like that, but it's just like, yeah, this definitely ain't for kids a bit more. So
Oh,
number one
yeah.
for me is one of the best TV shows I think, in my opinion, that's ever come out. Is of course Andor,
Whoa.
and predominantly because it's actually like straight up we're murdering people in this season in this show. We
Yeah,
don't
I
care
love
who
that.
you are.
Good. Good.
You want good acting? Here's some of the
Great.
best acting you will ever see in all of Star Wars.
I
You
love
want
it,
some
man.
good fights and stuff like that, and space lasers and spaceships and just everything was just on point for the show. I
Oh,
love it
hell yeah.
so much, and I'm so looking forward to season 2. And I'm so devastated that we're gonna probably get no more after season 2 of this.
Bro, I can't wait, and I'm so glad that it's like, we're doing 2 seasons, this is the story, we're wrapping it up,
Yep,
we're killing everyone
yep,
you love, we're doing
yep.
this as its own thing, it's self-contained, it's not building into anything that, isn't already out. It's so good, so good,
Oh
and
yeah,
it feels like it's a very random thing to have come out and been so good, because
oh
Andor
yeah,
was the least, like, exciting project that they were working on.
yep.
It's like,
And they didn't like
Andor?
promote it
What?
whatsoever. There
No.
was a whole thing on like Disney when it was coming out. They actually wouldn't put it on the homepage of Disney.
That's
And there
why
was
I
like
couldn't find it every time.
there was like big controversy behind that all. Because that's the thing,
Right.
like Andor is very much an adult Star Wars show. Like, do not
Oh,
watch this
yeah.
with kids.
They'll get
Like
bored.
straight up, the first episode, he straight up murders 2 people.
Hmm. Yeah, and he
That's what
goes
he
to
does.
he goes to a
This is
brothel?
what I've he goes to a brothel.
Yeah.
Um, this is like what I've wanted for Star Wars for like maybe the past decade now to like be able to take
Brothels?
something a bit more serious in Star Wars. And that's the
Yeah.
thing because I do really like Rogue One a lot, and we'll get to
I
that
love
a bit
Rogue
later
One.
on.
Yeah.
But that's the thing; they kind of set that same tone of Rogue One into this, where it's just like
Mhm.
this is the real world of Star Wars. This is how
Yeah.
gritty it is. This is how normal people are living and trying to survive against the Empire.
I loved it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
near perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a great show.
It is a great
Oh.
show.
Oh, man, yeah, can't wait for season 2. Well, you know what? I agree with your list as much as, there were some little things that we'd switch around for both of
Yep.
us. But I feel like we can
Yeah.
understand each other's reasonings for these.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So here comes to the
Uh-oh.
one that's going to be more controversial than our TV show rankings,
We'll
and
see.
this is what may break our relationship of doing the podcast.
Screw you, Barry. I'm starting my own
um.
podcast.
So before we go ahead, I just want to do a little bit of this because we all love Star Wars. We all got a bit of
Whoa.
everything. Spoilers alert!
Hello there.
I didn't realize the other
Hello
one
there.
would stop. So yeah, do you want to kick it off for us, man, with your
Oh,
12th
man.
movie of the Star Wars franchise
12
movies? So what's number 12?
12 movies have come out for this amazing franchise. I will say this is probably my favorite franchise of all time. Star Wars has always held a dear place in my heart. I have like 4 posters around my room, stuff's happening everywhere.
Yep.
But
Yep.
number 12 is the Clone Wars movie.
Okay.
The Clone Wars movie.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
bad. It's
It is
awful.
bad. It is. It's yeah. I mean, okay. Keep talking.
It sucks. I can put it on and laugh at it. That's about it. That's about all I can say for the Clone Wars movie,
That's all you
man.
can about it, do. Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. It was bad. Yeah, it's like it was Clone Wars episodes they smashed into a movie, and it feels like season 1 Clone Wars, but the worst of season 1 Clone Wars. So yeah, that's number 12. Number 11 is The Rise of Skywalker.
Hey, I'm glad that's there.
Dude. Yeah,
Could be
this
lower.
movie felt like 2.5 hours of just garbage, I will say. It had,
Yeah.
it sucks when the best part of the movie is Babu Freak.
Yep. That's the only good thing
Yeah.
about that movie. That's it.
Oh, yeah, yep. That's it. That's all I'm saying about that one. No, it's a piece of shit. Don't watch it. Number 10,
Mhm.
I have The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Oui. Yeah. Again,
Hey.
it sucks, but it's better than Rise of Skywalker. I liked the crate battle for the most part until the whole crash in and we save others by sacrificing ourselves without yeah. But we don't need to talk about the time Rose crashed into Finn in order to save him.
There's a
No,
yeah.
I like that battle. It felt very Hoth. I liked.
Do you like the scene where Princess Leia gets ejected out into space and uses force powers and
Oh, you mean the
goes
scene
back
where
in?
Admiral Akbar dies off screen, and I got so mad.
That's right. Yeah. Totally forgot about that too.
No, I hated it. I hate it. I did like Kylo in this movie though. He was pretty funny.
More.
That's it.
Shoot him more.
I want every gun we have to fire on that
I
man.
want-
I love that part, and I love that. But yeah, no, the rest of the movie's garbage, dog shit. Number 9, I have the Phantom Menace, and I will say, I do like the Phantom Menace. I have a Phantom Menace poster behind me.
Hey, look at
It's
that boy
really,
go.
yeah, no, I like it. Darth Maul being the best part of this movie, such a good villain, and
Oh
he
yeah.
doesn't say anything in this movie. He's like John
Nope.
Wick. He has maybe 2 lines, if that.
Yep. Well, I was thinking they
It's
really
really
didn't like
good.
do much of his character until Clone Wars.
No, but he
So,
was
and
still
I'm
cool as
glad that they
hell.
brought him back. Oh yeah.
Bro, seeing the double lightsaber, he was immediately like the coolest character, just by going
Blew my mind as a kid when I saw that. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, he's got 2."
so good. And stuff like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were really good in this. Kid Anakin was awful. Jar Jar was awful, but he's funny now. I don't know how that works. If you rewatch it, I like Jar Jar. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
controversial because it's stupid. I like laughing at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a kid, I hated it. I thought he was annoying. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Number 8.
The Phantom Menace.
This one might be a little controversial. I don't know how you feel about it, but at number 8, I've got Solo. Oh, the silence. Barry, Barry, you okay? Barry,
I'm not happy.
Barry,
I'm not happy
I'm
at all.
sorry. Barry, man, I liked this movie.
Okay.
I liked it. No, I liked it.
Oh,
It had some good
you have
parts.
opinions. That's it.
It felt like it was underutilized, and I really didn't like Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. It didn't fit. I will say it didn't fit. It didn't feel like Han Solo, and I feel like if it was detached from that and it was his own thing, even with similar
It should have been
characters and
me
it
as
was his
Han
own thing,
Solo. Then you might have liked it a bit more.
possibly, yeah, possibly, or
Yeah.
me when we did the Han Solo thing
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
TAFE class.
Exactly.
See, we would have
You
been
and I
great.
will both be Han. It would have been great. It would have been 2 of
Yeah.
us.
Everybody sees Solo and suddenly gets delusions of grandeur.
That was duo, not solo. Duo. What?
No, but that movie had some good stuff. What's his name as Lando was really good.
Yes,
Uh,
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, that's right. Yeah, he was good. Chewie was good in it. Woody Harrelson was surprisingly good in it. Again, it
Yes, that's
had
right.
none of it really paid off in the end. Amelia Clarke was in it. She was okay. She didn't do
Yep.
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
no, it was mid. It was very mid, but enjoyable. I liked it. Number 7, I have Attack of the Clones. this has probably the worst writing in terms of dialogue out of every Star Wars movie. But I will say, rewatching it, it's so good. Like, I
Is it?
remember every part of this movie. Like, you know the parts. It's got the start chase scene with the worms, and then it's got the Camino segment, and it's got the Tatooine segment, and then the whole Geonosis thing. Geonosis at the end. I love it.
Yeah,
The Battle of
yeah.
Geonosis is awesome. It's good. It has some good fights in it.
Good. It's good.
Count Dooku's
It's good.
great.
It's good.
It's
Good.
good.
Good. It's real good. It's real good. Good.
Uh,
Good. 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 Good.
number 6. Number 6, I've got number 6, I have The Force Awakens. Again, yeah, I don't mind this movie. I liked it. It would have been great as a payoff, if the next two paid off on what this movie was setting up. I liked Finn in this. I liked Poe in this. Poe is my favorite sequels character. He was cool.
Yeah,
BB-8 was
Oscar
cool. They
Isaac.
introduced.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was so good. They introduced some cool things. I liked what they were going with it, but again, they needed to do the rest of it well for this to be higher. So that's number 6, right in the middle. Number 5, I've got Revenge of the Sith. That's my number 5. He's giving me like the
I really
death
want to leave
stare.
this podcast.
I really like this movie, but
Okay.
it's not that well done, man. You rewatch
Well,
Revenge of the Sith.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you this now before we get into
Yep,
where my
yep.
ranking is.
Oh, I'm gonna get
Because
stabbed tomorrow.
oh, you are gonna get stabbed or punched in the face. Because that's the thing. I used to like have Revenge of the Sith like kind of low, like where you have it now, for a period of time, and then I got really into Clone Wars, and then like Clone Wars kind of saved it a bit almost. And
Yeah,
apparently there is like a proper like 4.5 hour cut of Revenge of the Sith that George Lucas still wants to release that shows a lot more dialogue and actually like full on hour battle at the beginning of Coruscant and stuff like that, all live action.
See, that would have been
Um,
amazing.
that
But
would
no,
have been
Revenge of the Sith on its own is actually brought down by Clone Wars, I will say, for me.
what?
Because I
Okay.
love the characters in Clone Wars, and watching Revenge of the Sith, it's kind of uncanny, especially with Anakin. There's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
difference in that, and it kind of throws me off. But I will say, the 4-hour cut that combines the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars with Revenge of the Sith would probably be
Oh
top
yes.
3 if we were including
Yep.
that. But of course, that's a fan made thing. We'll exclude that. But yeah, no, I have that downloaded on my computer somewhere. I'm looking at it right now. I have the download tab bookmarked at the top of my Google Chrome page because it was so good. But yeah, on its own, it's not very good. It's the most meme worthy and it's very memorable as a movie, but yeah, it's not very good. It doesn't hold up as well as you think.
Okay.
I will say.
Okay.
Number 4, I have Rogue One. I love this movie. I know you're looking at me because you're doing backflips in your chair.
What's going on, man? How are we doing a podcast together?
This is my favorite of the Disney era movies.
Yeah.
This movie was awesome. I loved it. Again,
Yep.
had some things I would change. Some of the
Yep.
characters I'd tweak. Some of the things I did, but I loved it as its own thing. It stood there. Some of the CGI, especially with the deep faked characters, is a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as of it is, the action's really good. The story's really good. It's a great fucking movie, and I want more movies like that. It's what got me so excited for Solo because it's like, oh, it's another story one. Whoa, but
Yep.
no, didn't pay off for that.
Right.
That brings me to my top 3, and I don't
Yeah,
know
the
if
top
you've
3. How's this
noticed
gonna go?
what movies I haven't said. Are you paying attention to what I
Well,
haven't said?
yeah,
Because I
the
think you can
original
see a trend
trilogy.
here. That's
So
my top 3, man. And number 3 is Return of the Jedi. I love this
okay.
movie. I love this
Okay.
movie. I unironically love this movie. For a
You're
while,
going to
I'd
hate
say
me.
that. Oh, man. For a
I'll
while,
tell you that
this
now.
was no, as a kid, this was my favorite Star Wars movie. I loved this one. It was just
Yep.
so good. Yeah, no, I loved everything about this movie. What else can I say? It was so
Nice,
good.
nice.
Even the Ewoks and
So
stuff, man.
so
Loved it.
can I guess that number 2 is going to be A New Hope?
You are right. You are right. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And New
Okay.
Hope is number
Yep.
2. It's the
Yep.
original. It still holds up really freaking well. It's a great story. It's it's just a really good movie, man. I can throw that on any time and just enjoy it. Know it off word by word. You know, I can pretty much do every single line from that movie. Yet it's so enjoyable every time I
Oh,
say
yeah.
it. And
Yep.
that brings me to number 1, which somehow tops that, and that's Empire Strikes Back. I think
Yeah.
you might have seen that, Carmen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the
I
thing.
know.
Like a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people love Empire Strikes Back.
It's hard not to. I kind of feel bad putting it number 1 because it's like everyone does that. It's kind of the best Star Wars movies, and everyone puts Empire at the top. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that guy, but it's
No, but
it's the
like
best
it's
movie.
good.
It's there
It's yeah.
for a reason. Yeah, it's so good. I love the dialogue in it. The action in it's really good. The Hoth battle at the start is probably one of my favorite, like, just segments of a movie ever. And it made me love these characters so much, man. Such a good character driven movie. And that's why it's number 1. So
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Well, I think your list is actually very well done. Very much not controversial whatsoever. I feel like you kept that in line a
You look like
lot.
you wanted to fight me on half of those.
Yeah, because mine, I will let you know right now, we're gonna get a lot of like fan hate for my
Oh,
rankings. Mine
uh-oh.
is very, very controversial. There
Attack of the
are
Clones
very
is
good
number 1?
films.
What?
Oh my god. Um, but yeah, I suppose we'll get into it. This
Oh,
is gonna
take it
shock a
away,
lot of
Barry.
people. So I
Take it
am
away.
sorry, listeners, in advance for my list. It is my list. You can fight me however you want. Bring it on.
Oh god. Oh, no.
So, number 12, I am starting with The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, no, I don't blame
To
you.
me, that is the most god awful film ever made because I had such a bad experience in it. Because I was like thinking, oh, yeah, it's going to be really good and stuff like that. So, what did
Mhm,
I
mhm.
do when it came out for the premiere? I did a 24-hour marathon beforehand, watched all the Star Wars movies and everything like that, brought a brand new
Oh
projector and
god.
everything for it, set up an entire like
Whoa.
theater at my garage for
Holy
this.
shit.
And then, midnight of the day it was going to be released, midnight, we finished at the right timing so we could go and see Rise of Skywalker straight after watching The Last Jedi. Went to go and watch it, almost staying up for 24 hours straight at this point, and went to go and see that piece of shit. And I was just like, I am never going to watch this again. And I have not
Oh.
watched it ever again. Every single other Star
Yeah.
Wars film I have watched multiple times. I only watched that once at the cinemas, and I was disgusted by it.
I've watched it once since, and I will say it was, worse the second time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because at
Yeah.
least in cinema, you get that whole,
Well, here's the
big
thing.
action experience, so
I,
then,
I have a copy of it that I do own
Same.
because I wanted to put it with my collection type thing.
Yep.
I have not
Same.
opened it. It will never be opened. It will never
Neither.
be used.
Nope. I have every Star Wars movie on DVD, and I have not opened probably half of them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're there.
So number 11 for me is going to be The Last Jedi. Still
Okay. Yep.
bad.
Awful movie.
There still is a few more things I preferred in it a bit more.
Mhm.
Like I could see what they were trying to do almost with it, and because it was
Yeah.
done by like one of my favorite directors, Ryan Johnson. I feel like he's very well done, but I just feel like he
Yeah.
just wasn't on point with this one. But that was the whole thing with Disney and the
No.
producers. And this whole
Yeah, he
trilogy was a mess.
wasn't on the ball, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't more with that one. So, but number 10 for me will be the animated Clone Wars Star Wars movie. Like kind of kicked off Star Wars, the Clone Wars for me.
Yeah.
Well, for everyone, I suppose. I think I went to go and see that at cinemas.
Really? Wow, I
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah,
it
I went to go.
till a few years after watching the show, for,
Yeah,
like, the
no,
first
I
couple of
because I
seasons.
remember like when it came out because I was like growing up, I was a huge Star Wars nerd, and then like
Mhm.
seeing oh they're making an animated show now about Clone Wars because I already watched like the 2D Tarkovsky show
Yeah,
that they
yep,
did
yep.
about Clone Wars and stuff like that, and I really did enjoy that. But
Mm.
when they announced this, I was like, I have to go and see it. I have to go
Yeah.
and see it.
No,
And like I remember as
yeah.
a kid when it came out, so I was 8 maybe, 8, 9. Like I
Yep,
really
yep,
enjoyed
yep.
it. I think a few months ago because I'm trying to get my nephew now into Star Wars and everything like that. I tried watching it with him, and he loves it. I was like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, uh, doesn't hold up.
No, it's good. See, I didn't see the movie when it came out, was it 2008 it came out? So I would have
Okay,
been in
so I would have been 10.
kindergarten, I think.
I would have been
Yeah, so
10.
I was in kindy, so I didn't even know this movie existed until
Damn.
watching the show on TV. Because I used to sit down at
Yep.
TV every day after school and watch Clone Wars because it was on like right after or something. But yeah,
Nice.
no. Then
Nice.
I got around to watching the movie and I'm like, this sucks. Even as a
Yeah.
kid, I was
Yeah.
like, this sucks. Why does Jabba the Hutt have a son? What is this?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So number 9 for me is going to be The Force Awakens. To
Wow.
me,
Okay.
it's literally just the entire original trilogy, put it into one film, here you go,
Yeah,
type
pretty
thing.
much.
Yeah, I really didn't like the new trilogy whatsoever. I don't mind the characters so much in this one, like what they
Mhm.
were trying to do, like with Ray and Finn and everyone in it. But
Yep.
then it was just like, yeah, this got progressively worse. The more they like the other two films that came
Mhm.
out, I'm just like, yep, yeah,
Mhm.
it's garbage.
No, that's fair.
So this is where we get into some quite
Uh-oh.
controversial territory now.
Bros, we put
Um,
Empire at number 8. Oh, no.
oh no, that's still higher.
7?
So number
Whoa.
eight for me is Attack of the Clones.
Okay,
I do
yeah.
not like it. I just find it awful. Just everything.
Oh, man.
The only good thing about it is the arena fight. I thought that's still pretty cool. When
I
I go
do
back
love
and
that.
watch it, I'm just like, yeah. But everything else, the dialogue, even the acting on it, to me was garbage. And it was just,
Mm,
yeah.
no, I like it a bit more than that, but, you know, I see
No, it's
the
number
I
8 for
see
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by at number 7, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I prefer that one a bit more, mainly because probably the final fight scene in it
Oh,
with
so well
Darth
done.
Maul. I feel like
So
that's
well
just like
done.
one of the best fight scenes in all the Star Wars.
And the music?
Um, and the
Oh,
music as
Duel of the
well.
Fates? Ooh.
Yeah. Duel of the
Wow.
Fates. And I feel like, yeah, it was like obviously introducing a young um Anakin as well. And that's the thing, because I was being 4, 5 when I first watched
Mm.
this as well.
Yeah, well, really
So
cool.
like to me, it was like, yeah, that was really cool, really cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Number 6 for
Uh-oh.
me
Ooh.
is
What
going
is
to be
it?
Solo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I very much enjoyed Solo, like quite a bit than a lot of people give it criticism for. I thought it was
No.
just this fun, wacky adventure that Han
Mhm, mhm.
himself was going on. I didn't mind Eckhart as a young Han Solo. I feel like he actually did quite well in
You
like
pronounce
making
his
his
name
own
wrong every time you say it. It was the
whatever
same
you
with Cocaine Bear. Eric Wright, Eric and Reich, and
Eric
Ekin
Reichardt.
Aaron Reich.
Yeah, every time.
It's funny. Yeah, sorry.
I did enjoy him. There was obviously a few things in it that were a bit like, okay, that's what you're trying to do. Okay. Like even
Yeah.
how he got his name was from like the guy at the cashier being like, "Oh, your name's Han. What? What's
Do you have
tell
a
me?" And he's
people?
like,
I don't have a people.
yeah, "Do you have people?" No,
Solo.
Solo. Then I find that very stupid, but I do
Yeah.
like the opening sequence of all that, where he's like in the trenches because that's the thing. He was a pilot
Yeah.
or trying to be a pilot for the Empire, and he did serve the Empire, and that's like
I
a whole
wanted more
thing.
of that. I
That's what
wanted
I
more of
want
the
to see more
Mandalore
of.
thing. And then, yeah, it became a heist movie, which again, I enjoyed this movie. I like it. It
Yeah,
was a good, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 if I was doing it. It's an enjoyable, fun experience. And the cinema made it way better than it would be if I
yeah.
rewatched it.
And that's the thing, yeah, like Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Like
Oh, he
I
was good.
want him to be in more stuff. Like he was
Mhm.
amazing in that. Apparently he is talking with Disney as we speak, to
Yeah,
reprise
right.
his role as Lando
Oh,
again in
okay.
something. Because he
Okay.
did an interview the other day and he kind of let slip and he's like, "Oh, wasn't meant to say that."
That, I'm all for it. He's such a
Yeah.
charismatic person, man. I loved him
Oh
in this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Fit the role perfectly.
Fit the role perfectly.
So good.
So yeah, my top 5. Here we
Oh,
go.
uh-oh.
Number 5 for me is going to be Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I knew it, man. Oh, man, you're doing
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi dirty here.
Yeah, as a kid, I probably would have had it a lot more higher, but progressively, the more older I got, the more I hated it because it was just like it just dragged on like so much longer than it needed to, and they're like, "Oh, let's add Care Bears into it," even though I
No!
do understand
I
that they
should talk
do
to
like
Ewoks,
are
man.
cannibalistic Ewoks, like do eat the
I love the
stormtroopers
Ewoks.
and stuff like that. But it was just like you literally have like Ewoks going up against stormtroopers who are meant to have like this very good armor and stuff like that, and they're just like laying waste. Like these
I love it.
little Ewok bear things. Because originally, for the original script Return of the Jedi, apparently it was meant to be Wookiees. But apparently it
Yeah,
was
I
going to
have
cost
heard
too
that.
much. So they made Ewoks instead. And because they were making more toys. And this is the part as well where Return of the Jedi falls a bit more low to me. Because even at this point, already Han was meant to be dead. He was meant to die in Empire.
Mhm.
And it was just like a total cash grab for Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like it's
they
still in
brought
my
him
top
back.
5. Like I still
I
very
like
much enjoy it.
Yeah, no. As much as the whole Han Solo cash grab, I love that they brought him back because he was awesome in this movie. Loved him in
Yeah,
it.
for
And I
me,
love the whole
I
Jabba's
feel like he
Palace
didn't do
part too.
much. Yeah.
Not really, but it allowed us to have these really cool parts. The Jabba's Palace intro, it's awesome. I love it. Everything about that segment is perfect, and I love it.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
cool.
So you're not gonna like me for
Oh,
this. A lot of people are not gonna
uh-oh.
like me for my number 4. Yeah, I'm going to get into a fight tomorrow with someone. So my
Uh-oh.
number 4 is Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right. All
like
right.
Empire as much as what other people do. I don't know why.
Wow.
I to me it is very well done story-wise and everything like that. Like it's very very well done. But I just every time I watch it, I'm just like, why do people find this to be like the best Star Wars film ever made? What?
Oh,
What's
man.
going on here?
Oh. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
devastated, man. Bro, the
yeah.
Hoth
This is when we should have like
battle,
webcams on the podcast. I know that's the thing, like the Hoth battle
the
and stuff like that.
asteroid,
Like to
the
me, it's just
giant
like
worm,
it is it's an average film for me.
Lando, Bespin,
Yeah,
oh, Boba
eh,
Fett,
eh.
man. Oh,
I don't know. Like, yeah, I just can't get into it. And I watched it recently as well. Like, I went back and watched the original
wow.
trilogy, and yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, I put that on probably on the same as Return of the Jedi, like around the same for me. If I'm being
Really?
honest. Yeah,
Wow. Okay, dude.
yeah.
Okay, man. Give us the other
I mean,
ones.
I told you it's gonna be controversial. So
Oh,
number three for me is going to be Revenge of the Sith. For me,
okay.
even though you said it's meme worthy and everything like that, for me, there's something about it to me that just every time I watch it, I still get goosebumps every time I watch it, even though it has like all these memes and stuff like that. That's probably why I love it even more. That's the thing. So at one point, probably a couple years ago, like or maybe a bit before, like I really didn't like it too much. Like it was quite low, like even below Empire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then yeah, like I went back and rewatched Clone Wars again when they did the final season again, and then for some reason
Ah,
I
yeah.
watched like Revenge of the Sith straight after that, and I was like, this is good. Like I actually enjoy it. Like I somewhat
Yeah.
like do understand in my mind now how I watch Star Wars and everything. Like the Clone Wars character Anakin is the same as the Revenge of the Sith Anakin
Mhm.
in my mind. Like I feel like I think of him in the same mindset as they both do now. And everything, even though it's
Yeah,
different
yeah.
performances and stuff like that, but to me, it's still like it's the same character, and that's why I enjoyed it a bit more. And plus, we've got like the epic final duel scene between
Oh,
brothers and
so good,
everything
man.
like that was just on point, and it was great. Like it's well, yeah, I just love it, and the creation of Darth Vader at the end and all
Mhm.
that, and it was
It's a
good. It
really
was a
good
very
movie.
sad film as well. It's very sad
Yeah.
about
It
like
was a
what happened because you do
perfect
see the
way
downfall.
Yeah, it was a perfect way to end the prequel trilogy because it led
Oh yeah.
straight into A New Hope, and it was really well done.
Yep.
All of the action in it's great, but yeah, no, it's not my favorite because it doesn't hold up as well. Maybe
Yep.
that's because I've seen too much of it, and Clone Wars distorted my vision of it. But I
Yeah,
don't
well, that's
know.
the
The
thing
the
because like
force is
Clone Wars
clouded
made
on
it
this one.
improved it for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Force is
Yeah,
clouded on this one.
Force is clouded on that one. All right, so number 2 for me is going to be Rogue One. I absolutely
Okay.
adore this film. That's my number 2. Rogue
Wow.
One. The cinematography, I feel
Mhm.
like the performances in it were quite well done with what they had to work with. I know there was a few issues behind the scenes because if you watch the first trailer for Rogue One and then watch the film, there's a lot of scenes that got cut in it and a lot of like
Oh,
certain
yeah.
elements of costumes and stuff like that. But I
Hmm.
still enjoyed it. That's the thing; it was very much like that adult-esque version of Star Wars that they went
Mhm,
into
mhm.
because they were like, we're killing everyone. That's it.
I love it.
And then also the addition
So
of the
good.
Rogue Troopers as well, and the Australian actor who played as
Krennic
Krennic.
and
Yeah,
Mendelsohn. He was so
and
good in this.
Mendelsohn. Oh yeah,
Oh, I loved it.
and also we had Mads Mikkelsen in it as well, which I feel like they should have
Yep.
saved Mads Mikkelsen for more of something else in the Star Wars universe. I think he would have been
Yeah.
more of, like, something more, but I was still
I
happy
forgot
that
he
he
was
was
in
in it.
this. I forgot he was in it. But no,
Um,
everyone was good in this movie.
yeah, yeah. So
Such a
yeah,
good
I
movie.
think it comes down to, like, yeah, it's very much like a mature Star Wars, and that's the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why I
The
liked it a bit
end
more. They weren't
battle
afraid
of
to get
Rogue
dirty.
One. Yeah, no, the end
The
battle of
final
Rogue One.
scene of Rogue
Oh,
One with Vader is one of the, if not the best scene in all of Star
oh, hell
Wars,
yeah.
when
Bro,
he
that
is
scene was
just
awesome.
decimating rebels after and cutting them in half.
The
It is,
dark
every
hallway
time I
and the
watch it, I'm
lightsaber
just like,
ignites.
oh my gosh, like this is why I
Yeah.
love Star Wars. Do
No,
more of this.
the whole end battle of that movie is
Oh
awesome.
yeah,
It's so good. Yeah, the
yep,
spaceship fights, it's amazing when they use the Corvette to crash the Star Destroyers together.
yep,
They fly in. It felt
yep.
very much like a war film, and it was so good. I loved it. Oh,
Well,
I
that's the,
wanna
yeah, the
watch it
whole
again
like
right now.
battle of Scarif and everything like that reminded me of like a Vietnam War film, like Apocalypse Now type thing. How they set
Yeah,
that
yeah.
all up.
See a
Like
bit of that, yeah.
I was like, that's cool. And then obviously, number one is the original A New Hope.
Yeah.
Every time I watch that, I'm just like, I understand the reason why everybody loves Star Wars. It always
Oh,
like brings me back to like loving Star Wars again, no matter what. Like I could probably watch Rise of Skywalker, be like everything's god awful about Star Wars. Go and watch New Hope straight after. I'm like, I love Star Wars again.
oh, no, it's
Like
so
New Hope for
good.
me is just like the writing for it, even though it's like the same as like any fairy tale almost, like hero gets the girl, saves the day type thing. But to me,
Mhm.
it just works.
Just
um,
works.
yeah, it just works. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Like
And that's
poetry,
the
it
thing.
rhymes.
I every time I watch it, like it's always gonna bring me back to my childhood when I first watched Star Wars, because the first ever Star
Mhm.
Wars film I watched was A New Hope. I remember
Yeah,
watching it,
same.
I think at the age of 3 on VHS.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. No,
Um,
I remember it being, made to watch it before I could watch the prequels. I remember getting, Attack of the Clones and, The Phantom Menace on VHS just before no, it would have been around the time Revenge of the Sith was coming out. So I got both
yep,
of
yep.
them on VHS, but I wasn't allowed to watch them until we could get the original ones. Dad wouldn't let me. He's like, "No, you gotta watch
Oh
these
yeah.
ones first."
Also, the reason why Revenge of the Sith is probably at number 3 as well for me. I went to go see that at cinemas, and as a kid, that was
Whoa!
amazing to see at cinemas.
That would've been cool.
It
See, that was
was.
2005, so I would have been, what, like 3 when Revenge of the Sith came out, so that was
2005. I would have
not
been 7, 8.
wow, yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, that's my movie rankings. Very controversial to a lot of people's rankings I found on the internet
Yeah,
and stuff like that, because I was looking at other people's rankings,
yep.
especially about Empire. Yeah, like
Mm.
it's always been like that. Like any argument I always get, I was like, why do people love Empire? I just don't. I don't know it's good. That's the thing. It's still good, but why is it number one?
Man, it just is, man.
It just is.
There's just something about it watching that movie that elevates everything the first one set up, and it wouldn't be as good if the first one wasn't second best.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
second
If
best,
yeah, if the
definitely.
first Star Wars sucked, they would have messed up Empire. But yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, A New Hope is a great freaking movie. Most
it
of
is a
those
great
are.
movie.
Hmm.
And that's what started all of Star Wars in the first place. And
Oh,
that's the
hell
reason
yeah.
why we did today's podcast. Because look at what the franchise has become. Look at all the shows that they've made and the upcoming movies that are hopefully they don't get cancelled, and just everything else that's coming out. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Ahsoka at the end of the year. That's probably going to be one of my number one show for the rest of the year now is Ahsoka.
Hopefully.
Because Ahsoka is probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars, potentially.
Oh, man.
Top two.
I hope for your sake that they do her justice.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like I
Oh.
enjoyed it when they added her into Mandalorian so far,
Mhm.
like in season
Yep.
2 and stuff like
If
that.
it's more of that,
Yeah,
it'll be
I
good.
just hope they continue
But I'm not
that.
keeping my hopes high because the same thing happened to Boba Fett. I
Well,
ain't
yeah, but here's the thing, because I'm looking forward, because actually Dave Filoni wrote and directed, I think, majority of Ahsoka. Like it's his own thing.
Okay.
He was the
Yeah, yeah.
one that created Ahsoka in the
Mhm.
first place in Clone Wars. It's his original creation. So I hope that we do see it justice, and I hope we do see it well, because this is, fingers crossed, no controversial things, anything about it. I hope it's good. I hope Thrawn is an actual great villain, because they got the same guy who played Thrawn in Rebels to come back and play him in live action as well. So I was like, it can be so great. I just hope it's not bad.
They can't afford to mess it up, man.
No,
if they're building all of this into a movie in 6 or 7 years, they need to make sure that the start of the whole arc with the villain and everything and Ahsoka, they need to make sure this is perfect. And if it's not, I'm gonna question my belief in Mr. Filoni, and because I'm already questioning my Jon Favreau belief, even though I don't know how much of that is his fault. Probably not much, but yeah, man. Star Wars was starting to falter.
I think they just need new management at Lucasfilm, because we know there is certain people that have caused issues, and it's the same person that got the new trilogy made and stuff like that.
I'll fix it.
So we'll see what happens with the future of Star Wars. Overall, you and I, we both still love Star Wars very much. A lot of people do worldwide. It's still making billions of dollars. I will still get Star Wars merchandise. I have so much Star Wars merch, man. I have probably an entire room.
Do you have
not my office, but there's another room.
Do you have a Kylo Ren cookie jar though? I don't think you do.
Oh no, I don't have that. That's cool. That's cool. I have a Darth Vader alarm clock though.
Is it Darth Vader alarm clock? I have a
Darth Vader alarm clock. It's like a statue of him. It lights up.
Right here.
Damn.
I have a Phantom
I wish I could go and grab my
Menace
stuff
well,
right now. I have so much Star Wars stuff.
Darth Maul.
My other room.
I've got like Rogue One pops. I've got posters all over. I've got 2 shelves full of like Lego, just from Star Wars.
All right. Good, well, I have an entire cupboard full of Star Wars Lego. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But I feel like that's kind of the end of today's episode. That is a wrap. So, do you want me to do the Star Wars Baba Booey theme or the Star Wars main theme to end today's episode?
I'll leave that up to you, man. Press the button.
I feel like a bit of Baba Booey. So, I suppose, thank you everyone for joining today's podcast. And as always, go and make sure to watch our other ones if you haven't listened to them. As always, they are very good. We did talk about the Bad Batch in a bit more detail a couple episodes ago. Very good season. Very good show in total. Well, I have been your host, Barry, joined by Clayton.
And I've been Clayton, as always.
And we're going to do our little outro of Baba Booey. I don't know where I found this. I just found it online, and it's good. So I suppose we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
See you next week. All right. Bye-bye.